We going live.
Hey, Sean, how long are these calls?
Well, usually testimonials take 30 to 45 minutes, and then Jesse will give a little presentation. It's usually about an hour total. Okay.
Hi, guys. This is Michelle from Parrish, Florida.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
All right, I'm going to mute everybody real quick. Mute all. There we go. I'm sure we'll have more people coming on. Is that in the middle? Which way does that need to go? That way? Okay. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome everybody. So do you want to kick this off?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
Welcome to the Come Alive call. Grateful for you guys being here. This is the ER Shred Come Alive call where we share some testimonials and updates of how everybody's doing. I think tonight we will have some updates, which will be really fun because I want to hear how y'all are doing. Me personally, I think Crystal and I are 9 months now on the ER Shred, and it becomes a lifestyle. It's crazy. It's crazy cool. I'll talk a little bit about it, but first, if any of you want to share either a new testimonial or an updated testimonial, we'd love to hear it. So please just go ahead in the chat and let us know. In the chat, Heather's already put a disclaimer that we don't cure or treat any illnesses or anything like that. So that's important. And so we don't want to make any disease claims or medical claims. That's really critically important. Towards the end of the call, our nutrition coach, Jesse James Jamnick, will teach you guys what ER Shred is and why it's doing what it's doing. I have had a crazy week.
Yeah.
So this is unlike anything, guys. I got to tell you what happened. So Crystal, she wanted chickens because we are eating all these eggs, lots of eggs, and we're buying pastured eggs. So they're even more expensive, and they're like, I don't know, like $7 and $8 a dozen. And so Crystal's like, well, I want chickens. So I go get her these chickens, not realizing that you go get chickens like that, that opens up a whole big can of trouble for you. So I had to build a chicken coop. It's been nuts. But then you gotta, not only that, then you gotta figure out your drainage. Then you gotta figure out, where protection, because there's like coyotes and bobcats and foxes and raccoons. Guys, you might want to just keep buying eggs. Let me just say that. You might want to just keep buying eggs. We're trying to go native.
Unless you just like really want to feel like a farmer, like this is how I'm getting my feel. I think chickens is about as far as we're gonna go, but
but you know what? Like they say that I like the vibe behind it. I like the notion, owning chickens, being that kind of a person. So we're going to give it a go. We're going to give it our best shot, but I'm about 90% done with this thing and I want it done. Like I want it out of my life. And these chickens are getting way too big for our garage. They're like flying all over. And so I got to get this chicken coop done.
Yeah, I'll show you guys the before and after. Like Sean has been really going to work on this thing, and I was just telling him he's not like a double knot kind of guy. He's like a quadruple knot kind of guy. So he is down there making sure that like no predator can get in.
Nobody's gonna kill my chicken.
Not even a human being with like a crowbar is getting into this chicken coop.
No. So that's how we roll. But
yeah,
let's do this. If you guys can keep me updated on any of the chat messages, we just want to share an update on me. So 9 months ER Shred, and I have not eaten out very much at all. Okay, by choice, not because let me just put it that way, because I recognize that the food that I have is more quality, and I'm not putting in all the bad, right? So last Thursday, I took Lily on a bike ride, and on the bike ride, afterwards, I was like, oh, I ought to take her out to eat, like a date, it'd be great. And she'd appreciate that. So I said, let's go eat. So we go to this place. And I'm thinking, I'll just ask for the meat because then I'll know it's safe. But I said to them, please just give me the meat. I don't want any sauces on it. Just cook it in butter. I don't want any of your sauces or anything else. Well, we waited forever. They bring it out. I'm looking at it. I'm going, there's something on that. I don't know what the heck's on it, but there's something on it. And so I eat it. I'm starving and I eat it. And no, man, like it sucks because it hit me hard that day and it kept hitting me that day. When I say hit me, it's like when you're this clean and this baseline and you understand your body, you eat something wrong, within an hour or two, your body will tell you it's unhappy about it. So whatever they're putting in their marinade or their spices or their sauce is not good. How do I avoid that happening? I eat at home a lot. Over the last year, we've eaten at home predominantly. Yeah. We rarely eat out.
Yeah, because like you said, I'm really getting so into knowing exactly where my food is coming from. I like knowing where the farm is that we get our grass-fed beef. I'm like really excited about the chickens because that way I know for sure that these eggs are good quality. So yeah. I'm just, like that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to eating out. Like we love to eat out for the fun and the experience, but I really have been choosing more so not to eat out just because I like knowing that I'm getting like the best quality meat and eggs and all of that.
Yes, that's where we are.
Yeah.
That's where we are, but it feels good to be while building the chicken coop. I got to tell you, I still maintain the exact same eating regimen, and I'm a machine, you guys. Like I can go legit
all day until night.
Labor is nothing for me anymore.
He's digging holes and trenches and
all day I can go, and it's just a miracle what my body is capable of. On the protocol, it's just a miracle what my body's capable of. So before I ask if there's a few people out there, first of all, let me see who we had on queue here. Michelle Smith, are you out there? You know how to unmute? Hey there, Michelle. There you are.
Hi.
Thank you for being brave tonight.
You bet.
You're awesome. So, 3 to 5 minutes. What was life like before ER Shred, and who introduced you to it, and what's it been like since? Where are you from, by the way?
Florida, Parrish, Florida.
Oh, very cool. Who introduced you to ER Shred?
Her name's Robin Campbell. She's from Maryland, but comes down here quite often. So
very cool. So what was life like before ER Shred?
Well, it depends if we're talking. I mean, normally it was like a low carb. Basically just a low carb diet, but still included like my nemesis Diet Mountain Dew, which I know aspartame is horrid. So and that's basically how I've been low carb for a long time. And of course I'm 55 now, and every 5 years it becomes harder and harder to maintain, you start gaining. So it's just hereditary is not my friend either. So anyway, and then I got COVID in early February and went about 2 weeks with almost eating nothing because it just nothing felt good, nothing sounded good, and got on the scale after 2 weeks of almost eating nothing. Of course, I wasn't moving very much either and had lost nothing. And I'm thinking, how can I go 14 days with eating 700 or less calories, not bad stuff, but just not very much, and not lose anything. And so that just really made me mad. So
makes me mad too, because the whole notion that it's just calories in versus calories expended is debunked.
Yeah,
exactly. So then I let myself have 2 or 3 weeks where I ate things I'd never eaten before. Had never eaten for years. Candy bars and So and of course, 2 weeks eating almost nothing, didn't lose a pound, 2.5 weeks of eating, not pigging out, but eating what I wanted to. If I wanted spaghetti, I had spaghetti. If I wanted, I gained 10. So, and I awoke every possible craving that I've had kind of under control.
Yeah.
For years. I woke every single one of them. And so this was the reason I even talked to Robin about it was because I needed something to just get me back under control.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I just had sugar cravings and things I hadn't really had to fight with. And I'm like, this is bad. This is really bad. And so I tried it. And of course, the first couple of days, especially without the Diet Mountain Dew, were no headache. I was thankful for that. But yeah, I basically crawled out of bed and wanted to crawl back in. I had no energy whatsoever. So, and then after about the third day, it just kind of turned around, and I was still going to bed way early, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. So a lot earlier. I'm normally a midnight person. I was going to bed at 10 o'clock. But waking up every morning feeling refreshed, I had energy. It still took probably the first whole week before I started losing some of my cravings. And yeah, it's just been, and of course, in the end, I ended up with, 13 pounds gone. So 3 pounds more than what I started off with, and 7.5 inches, and I'm still going.
So how far into it are you?
Well, I did the first 11 days, and that ended last Thursday. And then I'm getting married on Saturday. And so I just have so much to do. I did not want to try and fit a cleanse in.
Sure.
So I wasn't going to do a back-to-back shred. So right now I'm just doing the shake and meat days. So I guess we're talking 18 days in, but I haven't been back on the scale either. I know I'm fine, and I probably lost some, but I try not to get on there very often, because I don't want to, that's not what it's all about. And I don't want to get discouraged.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
So
that's
13
cool.
pounds, did you happen to measure all those different places they tell you to measure?
I didn't measure all of them. I measured mostly just my mid body, like bust, waist, hips, thighs. I didn't really look at my arms, but just in my waist, I lost 3 inches.
That's good.
Whoa.
That's good.
Yeah.
Just in my waist. So it
That's
was
really
really exciting. And at least now I don't have to feel like a complete toad from my wedding.
Congratulations
that's
on the
exciting.
upcoming wedding. That's
Yeah.
exciting. Hey, Michelle, real quick, did you gain control over all those different things you had mentioned, the soda pop and the bad foods that were kind of calling to you?
Absolutely. Yeah. On Easter, I decided to let myself have a treat. And so I had my fiance buy me a Diet Mountain Dew, and still tasted great. I'm not going to lie about that. Still tasted like, my favorite poison. So, but I could not sleep that night. That caffeine, just that one.
That's wild.
20-ounce bottle of, it messed things up. It really messed things up. So I was perfectly happy with not doing that again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Well, I'm excited to give up all my culprit foods. I got to tell you, I'm really, really happy about that.
Mhm.
Michelle, thank you so much
Yeah,
for coming
thank
on.
you.
We really appreciate it. I hope you'll keep coming in the group and participating and keep us all updated on your progress.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Michelle,
Yeah,
you're
thanks,
awesome.
Michelle. That's awesome.
Do we have oh, of course we do. I saw you on here, Heidi Ryder. Apparently Heidi put out a great post, which I have not had a
Yeah,
chance
I need to go look at
see.
that.
That took a lot. It took a lot. But
Yeah.
I'm
Heidi,
excited because I finally got my shirts, you know.
Yeah, did you wanna
I
take
wanted
it?
to show them off in Florida, but that's okay.
Yes, Well, I want to get a picture of you in your shirt, but I don't want to put you on the spot right now. Just send me a picture sometime, Crystal and I. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Heidi, where are you calling from?
I'm calling now from Pennsylvania. We snowbird in Florida. And yesterday we traveled our last day after 3 days on the road with all the truckers and all the other RVers, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this has been the most unbelievable experience, traveling on the road with so much energy, full of life, my body at peace.
Okay, we got to stop you. Hold on. So who introduced you?
Well, I've been doing Isagenix and I'm on Dr. Ina and Dr. Glenn's downline.
Very good. We love them. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Glenn's on here right now.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah.
So like everybody else, COVID was a bad year and the worst year for me. I gained 50 pounds with selling a house in Barnegat, New Jersey, buying a house. I was selling the house and my husband was in Florida with our 2 little Bijans. And, you know, selling the house was crazy. I kept the refrigerator, freezer, pantry, everything empty. I wanted to make it look like a brand new house, which it was only 4 years old, you know. But with that said, I had shakes, but I was eating out a lot, you know.
Yeah. So give us an idea when you, right when you went on ER Shred, you've been on for a little while, haven't you?
I started 11 days before Thanksgiving, November 15th.
Yep. You're one of those stories that's been unfolding, and you're just kind of got the courage now to come forward.
Yes, definitely.
So give us an idea, like when you originally started, how were things then? How are things going in terms of your health and your well-being?
Well, with gaining all that weight, I was diagnosed pre-diabetic. I was put on the sensor, the Libre sensor, 6 pills. And now I'm down to 1 pill and I'm basically for a couple months flatline in the green, 100% in target range. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
So
congratulations.
yeah, in like 2 weeks, I'm having blood work done, but I did have blood work done before the summer. And then after doing the ER Shred, my A1C went from 9.5 down to 5.4 before I left for Florida. And that was all because of doing the ER Shred and just living that lifestyle. You know, I came off the day of Thanksgiving, no issues at all. I brought in spinach for the first time with onions and bacon and the turkey. I had no desire to have anything else. You know, I cooked for everybody, but no desire to have any kind of desserts. I've lost all cravings for sugar and carbs.
How fast did that happen where you realized control over the carbohydrate and the sweets?
The 11 days,
Yeah.
you know, like actually, I'm going to say by day 3 or day 5. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've had control for quite some time.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm going to say something. I knew this would work because I started Dr. Ina's Restart program or classes back in September. And we did a 3-week sugar detox. And that was eye-opening. So then when I saw the posting of Laura Hernandez and Glenn, it just clicked. I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is going to work. I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. And I haven't stopped.
What to date? Well, what has your results been like in the form of pounds and inches?
I've lost 51 pounds and I wrote it down, 42 inches.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
so you lost all your COVID weight.
Oh yeah, and some, yes, more. Mhm.
That's awesome.
I mean,
Congratulations.
I look probably 10 pounds thinner than I did,
Oh,
March of last year.
oh, wow.
Wow,
That's
congratulations.
awesome.
That's really exciting. What other benefits have you realized? Have you had have you had any of that mental clarity that we talk about, any of that emotional health going on?
Yes, you know what's really amazing? For years, I struggled with allergies. 6 sets of tubes as an adult in my ears.
Mm,
5 shots a week for allergies. And I now know what my big culprit is, and that is dairy.
dairy.
Oh,
Dairy. I no longer have the fluid in my ears. I don't have the mucus in my throat. It was
Yeah.
so bad that I would have like a whistle in my throat while I was sleeping at night, keeping me awake.
You know what? It could be, even a little bit of the wrong thing. Our cat had a wispy, raspy cough.
Mhm.
And I started to suspect, I said, what is doing it? Well, Crystal and I would feed her these little treats. I finally said, you know what? Like, I think it's those treats. Because we were
Mhm.
giving her 4 or 5 of these little treats at a time. We look at the ingredients, sure enough, just like everything else, it's all corn-based, soy-based, canola oil, and take her off the treat, no problems.
Yep. I have
So
2
she has
I have 2
yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 Bijans, and I watched your video about dogs, and they eat one thing. It's wishbone from New Zealand, and they are 8 years old, and the doctors are amazed that their weight never, ever changes. Their treat is from that food, and it's 97% protein.
probably should be.
Yeah.
Probably should be. If you go look at your food, guys, go look at your dog foods, your pet foods. If the first ingredient is corn or soy, something's wrong. You got to ask yourself, why are they doing this to us? They're doing it to you for profit. They're doing it to you because profit margins. Anyway, Heidi, did you ever have that moment where you kind of felt, bam, like the light came on and you felt alive again?
Oh, I turned 63 down in Florida, and we went to Disneyland, and I'm hopping in and out of all the rides, and I'm not hurting at all, anywhere. I've never felt better in my entire life because I've always had a weight problem, always. And I'm playing a lot, And last night, the grandchildren wanted to see us, 6 years old and 4 years old, and they came running, almost knocked me over, and I picked little Julie up and spun her around, and I must have picked her up 8 times. And I'm like, yeah, I can do this, And then Jake goes and puts his arms around me. Oh my God, his fingers touched around my waist. And I thought to myself, this is crazy. And I'm thinking, this feels so good. But then instead of making it about me losing weight, I said, Jake, you got so big. Your arms are bigger. It goes around grandmom's waist.
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh,
fantastic.
so cute.
We're so happy for you.
And you know what? We're married 38 years. And today I wore a pair of pants that I could never fit into. And we're working around the house. And my husband just couldn't stop touching me.
That's awesome.
That's a bonus.
Yes.
That's the kind of result I'm talking about, people.
Yes. We have come alive.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
awesome. I
Yes.
love
That's the best. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Well, Heidi, you obviously
I
come
had to
alive.
share that. you know,
Oh, I'm so glad you did. You know, what it does in terms of vitality is fantastic. I mean, guys, create space, good things happen. Create space. I keep thinking about that. You know, we talk a lot about baseline. We don't talk a lot about creating space. What does that mean? If your body is just a walking, talking ball of inflammation, good luck with your supplements. Good luck. Not going to do you a lot of good. If you're a walking, talking ball of inflammation, good luck with your diet. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck seeing any benefit with your exercise. Good luck, because you got to address that. You got to get that addressed, and then good things start happening, and then your body utilizes the nutritives from your products, and then the body realizes benefit from exercise, realizes benefit from your foods. You got to create some space. If there's no space, it's all worthless.
you know, before we left for Florida, I was so focused and determined, and I knew I needed to take my food with me. So we bought a fifth wheel with a residential refrigerator. That freezer was filled with grass-fed beef, meat, bacon. I took 12 dozen eggs from the egg farm that I know that doesn't have soy in it and everything. Yeah.
Literally, you are what you eat.
Yes.
If you eat those eggs and you don't know what they're fed, you're eating soy. That's the
Yep.
point.
Last year, I saw all the cattle grazing in Florida. You can't get grass-fed meat, beef. Well, I mean, you can, but those cattle get shipped to Texas. I went to a butcher. That's a whole new other story. It's crazy.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? You gotta keep coming and sharing in the group, please, because we all just want to keep cheering you on. You're inspiring others, so thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Heidi, I'm going to go ahead and pivot from you, and I'm going to put Dr. Glenn on the spot if he's out there. Dr. Glenn.
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on, Glenn?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've known Heidi for a long time. It's been quite she's on like our local team, so when back in the day when everybody got together, Heidi was very often part of this group that we would get together, and and in fact, she's close enough. She takes Ina's course, which is in a local office to here. But Heidi was always the hookup since she's been on ER Shred. She's been like the egg hookup. She lives right near like the Amish country. So you're getting real high quality stuff from these guys. They'll tell you exactly, they know the names of the animals before they, became your sausage, but it's like, so it was awesome. So we were doing the same thing. Heidi would come down and she would fill a van for a group of people. I don't know, because they were trays of eggs. They weren't even by the dozen. I think it was
3 dozen
per tray, something like that. And we were getting each 3 or 4 trays at a time. Because in my house, basically my son's basically on the program. Even both of my sons are on some version of this. And so we go through tons of eggs, tons of meat. And it's for me, gosh.
Hey, Glenn, another reason I wanted you to talk is I've got a Dr. Richard Hirsch on the call, who's a chiropractor.
Oh, awesome.
And so I just thought it would be neat. This is his first exposure to ER Shred, and I thought it'd be neat for you to just kind of share an update on you and what you've seen.
Yeah, well, for those who don't know me, I've been involved with Isagenix since 2004, right behind Sean and Crystal there. And, so we're we've seen a lot go on in the company. And obviously when we started, in some ways, we've talked about it before, it was very easy. We had a system. We only had 7 products. So that's what you did. And people got a great result, and there were issues and stuff because it wasn't so set up to continuously do just that, so that was part of the evolution of the company. And I got a great result. And, just the super quick background in my practice was Ina found herself looking at an ad in a chiropractic journal that led to a phone call with Peter Greenlaw, and the rest was history. I saw her get off that call and I said, I haven't seen that look in years. And we hadn't touched network marketing or anything like that. And Peter Greenlaw was super excited. And he goes, listen, you guys are going to get such a great result. And long story short, we got excited. And 9 months into Isagenix, it transformed our life, even, both financially and even health-wise. And I saw that there was an ability to play a bigger game in my life. And I wanted to make a bigger difference. I wanted to create what I call a global practice. I wanted to get out there and have some kind of reach beyond the four walls in my practice, or, the other game for most of us chiropractors who are trying to expand is to have multiple offices, but then it's a different game. You're just hiring other practitioners and you're a manager of that. And that wasn't fulfilling me. That wasn't anything I wanted to do. So I saw an opportunity, within Isagenix. So we get involved and things have been awesome. It's been a blessing. Along the way, it allowed me to be the dad who always went on the vacation, on the school trips with my kids. These are priceless things, worth far more than money, but the money was good too. But along the way, I didn't have the passion that I had for doing our initial system, which is what gave me that great result. And part of the reasons were, and I'll just be, tell you exactly what's going on behind the scenes. I definitely had food style addictions. I had cravings for bad things. I live with the food police, so it's pretty good. It keeps it under control. I know, only allows certain things in the house anyway, so it's not, which is great. And it's been awesome, so it keeps you kind of curbed in. But let's face it, if you're eating things that even your body doesn't love, and as somebody who's worked within my profession in the world of allergies very heavily, you can be intolerant to a nutrient, you can be intolerant to anything. And it can, and you said it perfectly, Sean, earlier. It's like it stops the game. You're wasting it. It almost tells your body. I've seen people get so intolerant that basically, in fact, the woman who taught me the technique, that's what happened to her. She became so intolerant that her body, like the thought of food, almost put her in inflammation. It was a defense reaction. When you don't feel good from a food that you're reacting to, your body thinks it's a poison. Not literally. You're not poisoning your body, but that's the reaction. That's the actual motive. And so your body wants to protect you. So that inflammation, those things that we feel that are uncomfortable, believe it or not, are designed to try to get this thing that it thinks is not good for you out of your body. You're phlegmy. Why? They want that junk out of you, So again, these are things, and I did a technique that could often correct these. But the biggest thing was you got to find them, first of all. And we all know that, taking people off and restricting your diet initially to figure this out is a good thing, and being simple. So for me, all of a sudden, I'm hearing talk about ER Shred as it just started. I'm watching what's going on. And I'm fascinated by what I'm hearing. I knew for sure, I've been doing for years off and on. I had incubated a shake here or there. I'm close with Peter, so we had been doing that. But here's what's funny. I never was motivated to do it on a regular basis. So I did it once in a while, but it was never part of our routine. It just seemed like there was never time to do it. Didn't do it. Now, all of a sudden, I'm hearing about the ER Shred, and I start thinking about it. And I start thinking about me, and I go, and the thing that caught my attention, it's probably the wrong thing, was like, wow, these are foods I really enjoy that these guys are eating. I'm typically staying away from a steak. That's like a real treat, typically. And, so I'm like, wow, I can have that grass-fed beef, no problem with that. I pretty much eat organic anyway. So this is cool. So I go, wow, let's do this. I do it. And man, it is like, the classic, man. Come around day 5. I'm like, woo, this is like amazing. I feel like like it was back in the beginning. And you've heard a bunch of us OGs say that. It's like because when your body feels good, regardless of how it gets there, when your body feels good, you come alive and you get a sense of being something that you just didn't have. And you don't really want to lose it, if you're smart, and it's easy to lose because we give into cravings and things like that. What has been beautiful for most, for the vast majority, like 98% of the people that we've guided to this, is it's had that effect, including myself. So I came off the shred, and the big thing for us is when we did go out to eat, and we are kind of foodies. It's kind of like our end of the week. Usually it was our reprieve, not so much, of course, during the last year, but every time we went out, I had to have, I'd have a piece of bread. I'd control it, but I'd have it. Sometimes though, I'd go out with a group and notice that by the time my meal came, I was full because I was like picking and snacking, and it was all the stuff I shouldn't have had anyway. So I go and I do this 11-day program, and not only do I get an amazing, I lose like 15 pounds, I feel great. It's like, woo, which is actually, even better than I did on my original Isagenix, 9-day. So I was thrilled, and I'm feeling really good. And I noticed clearly I could care less about this stuff. And I'm like, telling Ida, I'm going, this is pretty. And she's like blown away. So now she's like, we go out to eat. There's a couple of great places around here where I can actually get grass-fed meals. I can get a grass-fed beef meal, and I mean, really good. And I was at the point, this is after the 11 days, of course. And I'm now into like having an shred life now after these 11 days. And I start bringing stuff in, and once in a while I have stuff that I wouldn't have on a regular basis. I mean, I know it's not the best thing to have tons of like, potato style carbs. I certainly stayed away from corn, but even, they're like empty foods. But once in a while, so I had like this restaurant had fries and duck fat. I'm like, I'm going there, because I'll make up for it another way. And sure enough, like no reaction. I feel good. Now, again, I'm not looking to have these every day by any means. I probably won't have them for months, who knows? But I felt fine for one, which was really wonderful. Just to have no reaction, which I started to realize, I didn't even realize how often when we would go out, I didn't feel good after dinner. I kind of wanted to be home and just chill out. I didn't quite put my finger on it. It was so subconscious. I almost pushed it to the back. I mean, I wasn't like achy. I wasn't like, but I didn't feel, it certainly wasn't energized and, feeling good. And then I realized, wow, I feel like totally fine. I'm eating my meal. I'm satisfied. I don't have these crazy cravings, like the whole mindset of having to fill yourself. In fact, even, that initial 11-day shred where you have the thought, and it's such a beautiful plan. Eat to satiate. You can have all you want. So you start thinking, I'm going to line up like 5 steaks, 10 eggs, and maybe the first day you do it. Maybe you even do it that way. You go for it. What I think you quickly find out is that your satiation point is somewhat lower than you really thought. Like I find, if I eat, I'll get a grass-fed steak now, put that on the grill, and that alone really does satiate me, and I'm fascinated by it. It like feels good. Coat it with butter, make it taste even better, and certainly it tastes as better as. In fact, going out for steak is a tough call now because I can make a better steak most of the time that I can get out. I have an infrared grill, and it's like perfect. It's like I'm making it works. That is so
awesome. What are the top benefits? What are the top benefits you've seen with your clients, patients? What is like some of the top benefits that people report?
I think the best thing about it is it doesn't feel as much like a do it and run. Like do it, try to get a quick result. Like it used to, a lot of people have used our 11-day program that way. Like they'll do it, they'll get the result, and then they don't really know what to do afterwards. And so they end up kind of weaning back to what they were doing, and they wean back to how they were feeling. And it's like, it just becomes this ongoing lifestyle that they are used to doing. They're like, well, I tried it. And that's the classic thing. Oh, I tried that. Well, I get it. And that's a new conversation I'm having with a lot of people that I revisit with this. I said, listen, if you're open to it, I want you to revisit it. And I know it sounds like it's kind of the same products, but the slight tweaks and shifts that we're going to suggest you do during your initial program are going to make all the differences. And they do. And it's that simple. It's brilliant. It's like, it's got all the best components of everything I love. It's like, I don't feel like I'm on this crazy keto program where the minute I do anything that's not on it, it's like, well, now you got to start over and totally get your body back into this place. It just seems like the combinations of eating this way and having my shakes every day, it just works. It just feels good and it works. And I know, which I've always known, is that shake is such a perfect meal anyway. So when I'm not eating a delicious grass-fed meal, or eggs and other things that I'm enjoying anyway, I'm having an even, maybe possibly a more perfect meal, So you really can't, it's the best you can get, and I'm finding that people can stay on it. So going back to your original question, the best part about it is people will find their way to continue without totally screwing this thing up. And if they, and a quick question or two and they're back, and they have a group of like thousands of people who are now pretty well educated. I have to say, most of the information that's shared on the group, even by people who are not, they're not quote unquote experts or whatever, are really, it's all good because we're doing a good job. People seem to know the game. They know the protocol, and the people who are offering advice are giving great advice. So it's a fantastic system all around, and it's designed to keep people for a change. And I think we can continue this forever easily.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Dr. Nozek.
Thank you.
You're awesome. Thanks for being Johnny on the spot there. Appreciate your update. We've been wondering how you've been doing. It sounds like you're just still killing it, doing awesome. So that's so exciting.
Absolutely. Thanks.
All right, Dr. Nozek, thank you. I got to put it out there. Is Joshua White on the call? You out there, Joshua? You can unmute if you are. That's another one that said he would like to share. And then what about, if not Joshua, I don't think we have a Marianne Mamakos. What about Marcia Corti was going to share an update? You out there, Marcia?
I'm here.
Hey, how we doing?
Hi, Sean. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of just say a quick update for me. I've started my first shred on November 1st. And so I've been doing this. I was counting this like it's 5 months. I was like, wow. So I heard about it. Basically, I saw you on your site, and then I clicked over to ER Shred. That's how I found it. And I was a little leery because I've been on Isagenix for 10 years. But that whole, we've become, like we talked about, that whole meat thing, it sounds like it's a bad thing. But when you think about it, everybody usually eats a meat meal a day, when you think about it. So anyway, so I've been very happy. I've brought some things back in and stuff, but I just feel so much better, even though I've been doing Isagenix and I love it and I've always loved it. But I just do feel different on this. I have more energy. I thought I had a lot of energy before, but about day 5, and just kind of an update. The biggest thing for me is, even after all this time, I still really love, they said, don't you get sick of eggs and meat? No, I don't. I don't get sick at all. Nothing's better than a big steak with some butter and salt on it. So anyway, and also with the changing of the seasons here in Colorado, it was fun to go into the closet, because at the end of the, with COVID, at the end of the season last year, things were a little tight. Even though I was still on Isagenix, I brought, too many things back in. And now to go back in the closet and things are fitting well or loose. So that is, it's exciting, especially for any woman wants to have their clothes a little looser. So anyway, so that's just like, so
I gotta
say,
say,
that, so.
I feel the same way about like when you say, does this way of eating get old? I find that what a fascinating little thing to think about, like Dr. Glenn said, fascinating, really fascinating to think in depth about this. I was in a soccer game recently and I got really hungry, and my father actually was there, and he had a Tangelo, and he said, here, have a Tangelo. And I looked at it and I was like, nah. He goes, you said you were hungry. I said, I am hungry. he says, well, here, have a Tangelo. And I said, I don't want that. I don't want that. He goes, what do you want? I said, meat, butter, salt. You know, it's crazy, but I absolutely just love the food that I do eat. I love it. And I look forward to it. And it doesn't get old. It's just a phenomenon. And I'm starting to realize, like I talked to you about this, Crystal, like, what do animals do? Do animals ever say like, kind of sick of eating insects? Think I'll go try some tofu. Like, no, it's not what happens. Anyway, tell me, what are your top benefits there, Marcia? What would you say in terms of 5 months now on this? What are a couple of the top benefits you've realized?
I think, like I said, the energy. I sleep, really good. And I think the energy to do my workouts, and not getting tired of them and not getting tired from them, because sometimes, well, here's an example. I golf, and at the last fall, and then I went this spring, just a couple weeks ago with my grandson, and I had more energy my first time out this year than I did my last time out last year. So that just tells you in that time how my body has changed and kept, I guess, well, I'm, thinner and I have, more energy and been working out and stuff. So, yeah.
Have you noticed this? Have you noticed that this is the last thing I'll say, and then we probably need to turn over to Jesse because we're running out of time, but have you noticed that the energy you do have is sustained? It's crazy. Like Jesse used to talk about how, when you're carb fueled, when you get hungry, you're like about ready to eat your own arm off. That's how you feel. Like, it's like, stop everything and I need to eat and I need to eat now. And then when you do eat, you're only satisfied for a couple hours. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed just the longevity, the sustenance?
Yeah, I have, especially if you keep busy, I don't have that, like you said, that kind of lull,
Yeah.
And also like going out to eat and stuff. I agree with, I think it was Dr. Glenn talked about, if you have the salad and the meat or the bread and all that stuff, you are full before your meal even comes. And so many times after that dinner, you just go home and you just want to go to bed. And so I don't have that anymore. If we do go out to eat, I try and get a steak and maybe a sweet potato, but I don't feel that way. I still have energy and feel thin, per se.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's so great. Thank you.
All right, Marcia, thank you so much. Everybody that shared tonight, you'll be entered in to win free ER Shred gear. So we'll do a raffle next week. And we'll have to grab the ones from last week too.
Oh, yeah.
Because I got to go jot them down. But do you want to introduce our boy, Jesse?
Okay. Jesse James Jamnick, our nutrition guide guy. He just has all the great information about why the ER Shred is so effective. He's going to share, kind of break it down for you, for any of you who might be new or just want to refresh the course on how and why this is so effective. So Jesse, also thank you so much for your awesome video you did. I think it was yesterday. You're always sharing such great insights and keeping us all inspired and motivated. So I love what you bring to the table. So go ahead and take it away.
Well, thanks, Crystal. That's awesome. Yes, visualization. It's mindset, right? And it's crazy. I'm glad you guys left me 9 minutes. I always like a good challenge. So here we go. ER Shred, why are we having all these amazing results? We can talk about it's crazy. We can talk about it's fascinating. I'm going to tell you from my soul, I believe that it's crazy and fascinating because we've been lied to for the last 60 damn years of our life. That's why it's fascinating, and that's why it's brand new, and that's why it's like, oh my gosh. But if we rewind the clocks, if we go back to before grains, if we go back to before the big food companies started to become arch criminals and lie to people and start to make non-human like food that didn't serve our bodies, then we wouldn't necessarily think that it's such a crazy concept. In fact, I've come to believe, and I've talked about it now for the last couple of weeks, that my cat's gonna drive me crazy. ER shred is the ancestral way of eating with the 21st century twist. And if you really think about it, we are hunter-gatherers by nature. We rummaged the land, we foraged the land, we hunted our own stuff, we ate meat. We didn't have access to grains, we didn't have access to processed sugar. We used real sugar from the land when the fruits were available. We would gain fat in the summer so we could survive in the winter. We are actually fat storing machines, if you actually understand the human body. We're designed for that. And now what we've learned when we've pulled the curtain back and we've unmasked the BS that's going on, we have come to the realization in the ER shred that fat is the best, most abundant way to fuel the human body. It doesn't cause cravings. It doesn't cause spikes in blood sugar. It doesn't, make us have inflammation. In fact, when you eat fat, it just fuels your body. 90% of our body is designed to function off of fat. 10%, our brain can live on glucose and thrive all day, every day. And the coolest thing that I love about the ER shred, I've talked about this before, but one of the nutrition schools that I was fortunate enough to go to, Institute of Integrative Nutrition, was a very, very different type of school. It wasn't like let's go with the RDAs, let's get the percentages, let's figure out how to be a nutritionist. Like, it explored 100 different dietary theories. And at that point in my life, I had already been in the fitness nutrition industry for many, many years. I've used myself as a human guinea pig, trials and tribulations, every diet, every supplement, like you name it, I wanted to get better. And when I got into that school and I heard all of these amazing professionals, I'm talking doctors, certified, functional medicine practitioners, like you name it, they taught these classes. And every single one of these 100 different dietary theories was different. And every single one of them told me that it was the right way. And I was like, this is bonkers. Like, no wonder why nobody can figure this out. No wonder why I can never get clients to continue on with the process. Like, you got to be crazy. And I will admit that over the years going through the trials and tribulations, I'm a little psycho. Like, I do ultra marathon running. I don't have all my screws in my head. There's something wrong. So when I get laser focused in on something, I'm laser focused in. In fact, my ex-wife told me one time that I was like a food Nazi. And I was like, how dare you call me a food Nazi? I'm just trying to save us, for crying out loud. But that is a true story. Like, that's how crazy I get when it comes to it. And the one thing that I love, which Dr. Glenn talked about and Heidi talked about, and every single week there's success leaves clues. We've heard this before, right? You need to open the damn ears, open the eyes, and pick up on the clues. The clues every single week, week after week, people say this is easy. People say I'm not starving. People say I want to come back and do it again. Glenn, come on. We've been coaching for many years. How many people come back and beg us to do an elimination protocol? You yourself did it, right? I myself shocked myself. And we know, like, we studied this crap. That's how crazy it is. So the coolest thing that I love about the ER shred is that it is such a simple protocol. It's an elimination, reset, shred protocol. We are eliminating all of the culprit foods, every food that we know that's not human-like. And what do I mean by not human-like? It doesn't have a good supply of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. Do you understand that our bodies need that to thrive at peak performance every day? You're a Ferrari and you've been pulling up to the gas station, putting in the cheap crap when your Ferrari needs the high octane. But yet you're expecting that high performance engine to function at peak optimal levels, and you're not putting in the high octane. So you got to be honest with yourself, right? We've been putting in processed foods and grains and corn, and we've been going off of research that's not even research. It was a theory. There's no science to back it. That whole thing about take fat out of the diet is the stupidest thing that I've ever done in my entire life. And I'm ashamed that I fell for it. And it stinks that we all did, but it's the worst experiment ever. And there's not one piece of research that backs it, which is why I'm going to scream fat till the day I die. And I've proven it in my own self now over the last 9 months, and just finished with the 74-mile ultra marathon where I could not consume solid foods. I feel like I want to vomit the entire race. If I was not fat adapted and I was running off of carbs like I was before, there is no way in this world that I would finish that. It would be way too much of a calorie deprivation to be able to make that happen. So in the elimination recall, in the elimination part of the ER shred, it's really simple. We strip it all out. We bring ourselves back to baseline. We're getting rid of the soy, the gluten, the corn, the artificial dyes, the colors, the sweeteners, the sucralose, the aspartame, the red dye 40, yellow dye 60. I mean, I don't know. Look at these labels. It's like reading the back of Roundup, for crying out loud. And we're putting that into our bodies, right? So we eliminate all of that. When we eliminate that, what are we doing? What are we doing? We know in the medical world, without a fashion of a doubt, that when we spike our blood sugar and insulin releases into our body, we know that there is nothing good that comes from that. So we are going to eliminate the foods that are causing those massive things. If you can imagine like a cardio, an echocardiogram of a heart, right? It goes boop, 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 boop. Your blood sugar all day long was boop, 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 boop. You go up, you think you were full, but you weren't nutritionally full because you weren't feeding yourself real food. Your blood sugar spikes, you get that high and you're like, and then you come crashing back down. It's the same damaging yo-yo effect that drug addicts fall into. Yes, food is an addiction. Food is absolutely addiction, and some of you have fallen trapped to that, right? So we're no longer doing that by stripping everything out. Elimination in the functional medicine holistic practitioner world is the creme de la creme to identify food sensitivities, food allergies. The problem is they're really difficult to follow. If you look at the list, it's like, hi, doc, can you follow that yourself? No, you probably can't. Thank you very much. This is the easiest thing in the world. You strip everything out. You fuel your body with steak. Like Glenn said, like, who doesn't like a steak with butter? I got to fight some people because they've been lied to and they're like, oh my God, that's going to give me heart disease. I go, no, the 40 pounds of sugar and 50 pounds of flour that you pump into your body every day, that's going to give you heart disease. That's going to give you diabetes. That's going to give you high blood pressure. That's going to give you autoimmune disease. That's going to cause some major issues. And the problem is that it starts slow and then they compile and they compile and they compile and they compile. And before you know it, it's just out of control. The elimination aspect, I think, is one of the most powerful aspects of the ER shred. And it's easy. I can't stress that enough. It's easy. We take all the guesswork out. Rod just talked about it on our call again last night. Then we have the reset. We harness the power of cellular intermittent fasting. This is not your mainstream eating window. You don't get the benefits the same. They're not even close to the same benefits. This is not what mainstream science and Muscle Mag and Men's Health decided to jump on the bandwagon, because we've been doing this, Isagenix has been doing this since 2002, and it's gotten better and better and better. There is so much published, peer-reviewed research behind cellular intermittent fasting. And mind you, I want to explain to you, people get this confused. They think of a cleanse. Why? Because we've been lied to again. You've maybe taken one. It was a poopy cleanse. You spent the day in the bathroom. You felt horrible. Do you know that actually flushes nutrients out of your body? It's the ass backwards thing of what you want to do. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Cellular intermittent fasting is enjoyable. And I know that some of you have struggled, but remember what you've done to yourself for 14 years. Cellular intermittent fasting, today, I schedule it into my workouts. I schedule it into my training. It is the most enjoyable thing that you do. You are resetting your hormone levels, serotonin, ghrelin, insulin, the most powerful hormone inside the human body. We're regulating all of that. So we're eliminating the inflammation with the elimination. We're decreasing all of that attacking that's going on inside the body. That's the basic way to describe inflammation. You're at war inside the body. Then we're resetting the body. And what we're doing with the cellular fast is we're actually flooding the body. We're not flushing the body. we're flooding the body with all of the botanicals and minerals and nutrients that our body needs. We are supporting our body to do what our body was designed to do. People always say, well, my body's supposed to do that. I go, keyword, supposed to. It's not like 70, 80, 90, 100 years ago where we didn't have the poisons and the pollutants and the pesticides and the herbicides and the food that doesn't even contain the nutrients anymore. Things are a little bit different. Take a deep breath. How's all those heavy metals you just sucked in? That's what our world has come to. So you have to have a way. You have to have a strategy. And this is the easiest thing that you could possibly do. Yeah, you might struggle in the beginning, but it's going to get easier. We're regulating everything. We're getting your body back to that baseline. We're working on baseline. It's such a beautiful, powerful place to be. ER Shred's empowerment puts you back in control. And that's what these steps are designed to do. So we take out all the guesswork and we're telling you, boom, 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 boom. Here's an 11-day thing. But this is just the beginning. This is the tracks to run on. This sets you up for long-term success. Like Glenn talked about, that's the beautiful thing. That's the magic of the ER Shred. And then we have the Shred. What is the Shred? The Shred is just fueling your body with the best nutrients possible. Yes, we utilize supplements because we learned through science that unfortunately our food is lacking what we need today. You could sit in a garden and eat like a rabbit all day long, and I guarantee if we do what's called a deep blood panel on you or an IgG testing on you, I guarantee that you'll still be lacking vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that are stopping your body from doing what they got to do. Sean hit the nail on the head. Good luck doing anything if you can't address these things first. How many of you have tried? How many of you have failed? How many of you, I used to love when I went to the gym and I saw the same person, so dedicated. You can't take that away. So dedicated every day, pumping away, pumping away, pumping away, pumping away. And yet a year later, they barely changed. And here I am scheduling weeks off and programming and, you know what I mean? Like doing my thing. And don't get me wrong, I work really hard, but the results are way, way different, right? So you have that strategy. The Shred is learning to identify the foods that serve your body. My food can be your poison. This is something that doesn't come with any other program. This is something that no doctor will help you push through, I promise you. This is something that doesn't happen, right? Well, Dr. Glenn, you're an exception because you do this with us. So this is something that most doctors won't do though. They just say you got to lose weight. They just say, you know, you should try maybe this. Now, the funny thing is they can't do it themselves, majority of them. And the other thing is that how is a person supposed to know? If you're confused and you got there in the first place, how are they supposed to know? So the community, the ER Shred concept is we're teaching you to put those foods in, we're getting you to that baseline, and then we're giving you the power. You notice, you know, people are like, well, what can I eat and what's this? I'm like, well, did you try Google? Have you tried it? Did you like it? If you did, great, keep doing it. You see, this is very different. This isn't like, oh no, you can't do that. Gosh, Glenn, you can't go out to dinner for crying out loud. You know, that's shame on you. No, that's not what life is about. This is about creating a healthy lifestyle, a holistic way of living. Why? Not because we can't drink a beer, not because we can't go have pizza, but we have learned that food does not deserve a place inside of our body for the sole purpose, not because it's unhealthy. I hate that, but because it doesn't make you feel good. And our health is our greatest wealth. Without our health, we have nothing. That's why you will decide on your own not to put those foods back in. And if you do, you pay the price real quick. That's power. Do you understand the empowerment aspect? That's power. Then we use bone broth and we use sleep spray. Like we covered every aspect of this. We use incubation because it keeps us more satiated. We're delivering the nutrients that are intended to be delivered. We have undenatured whey protein. We're only selecting stuff that has informed sport, informed choice certification. Like we're not cutting corners. We're tired of the BS. That's the best part about the ER Shred. You're not going to come here and hear some funky dunky BS. Like you're going to get straight to the root cause, and we're going to create some darn, you know, success stories. That's what we're about. People's lives changing, people's lives coming alive. And then we have our community, right? Our community is the best aspect. And I touched on it a little bit. So many people would fail without the community. We have so many brilliant, amazing people that are part of this community, from doctors to nurses to coaches to moms to dads to grandmas to grandpas to young to old. Like, we have everything covered. You can't make up what 20,000+ people are experiencing. You just can't make that up. And when you can come and you're part of a team. I grew up playing sports. Anybody who grew up playing sports knows everybody wants to feel like they're a part of something. Everybody loves to be a part of a team. And this team is one of the best teams that I've ever been a part of. And I'm not just saying that because I eat, breathe, sleep, and will die the ER shred. I am saying that because I truly feel it in my soul. The people that you connect with, the stories that you get to hear, the motivation, the willingness for other people to help each other. I mean, where do you find that, especially in the world today? And Sean, that's the beautiful thing. That's the simplicity of the ER shred. We know that it gets way more complicated, and we can start throwing research and, publish peer review, stuff. But I mean, we don't need that. You know why? 9 months in, proof of concept, thousands of lives change. I don't care what the science says anymore. Look at the results of the people. And that's what I'm preaching from the rooftop, brother.
Yes, sir, Jesse. Thank you so much, Jesse. That was incredible. You fit a lot of information in a short amount of time. We love you, man. Everybody, we are going to call it a night. Everybody, I just want you to appreciate Jesse does such an incredible job. I don't know if you guys realize how much time he puts in. Make sure you go watch his call that he did last night with Rod Brooks. That was incredible. Those Shred Your Body calls every Tuesday night are just killer. And then tomorrow night, Bob Sivright is going to be in the Shredders Unite group with Pamela Christensen, who is another tremendous alternative health professional. And so make sure you can tune into that too. Guys, let's unmute. Let's all thank Jesse for his time and for that presentation. And by the way, real quick, you guys who shared your heroes, your real life heroes, and you're inspiring other people to take control. This is not some vanity thing. This is a lifestyle empowerment movement. This is about changing your life, all aspects. The people that were on tonight are real life heroes, and I want to acknowledge you for that. So everybody tell Jesse thank you, and let's sign off.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jesse,
Jesse.
Crystal, Sean, and Heidi, and all the
everybody.
other guests.
Thanks for showing
Good
up.
night, everybody.
Love you guys.
Great
We'll see
call.
you next week. See you in the groups.
Thanks, Jesse.
See you tomorrow night.